What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick Theriot, and today I have a new video for you guys. Today I'm going to talk about hiring a digital agency in 2021, specifically a Facebook ads agency. I'm going to discuss everything in between of working with one, hiring one, pricing, everything to expect, the horror stories, all that good stuff, their questions to ask, and everything like that. I'm trying to be unbiased as possible because I do run a Facebook ads agency, but I'm hopefully to help you out before you go ahead and hire one, so that way you know what to look out for. So with that being said, before we get started, make sure you hit the like button and hit that subscribe button for new videos every other day, similar to this one. Let's get started. So the first question to ask yourself, should I hire a Facebook ads agency? There's going to become a time where you're currently running Facebook ads right now, and A, you're just not getting the results you want, or B, where simply you just do not have the time to run the ads anymore. You're so focused on growing the business in other perspectives and other areas. You know, you're working on finance, product, shipping, fulfillment, all of this other stuff, running new collections or creating new collections and stuff like that, where running the Facebook ads yourself is actually an issue because you're spending so much time on other areas of the business, you can't keep up with it, and you run into some issues with results. And you know you need to hire and bring someone on board to run the ads for you. So that's gonna come down to the first question. And really, to describe that, it just kind of depends on, budget, how much excess capital you have, because on top of ad spend, now you have to pay someone to run it for you. And then also too, you need to decide if you want to do the consulting or full-on service, where consulting is more when an agency works with you. You do everything still yourself, but they consult with you in the proper things you need to do to get better performance, or they're doing full hands-on, where the agency takes over the ad account and all that good stuff. Now, the next thing is a niche agency versus a broad agency. So if you're looking to hire an agency, you want to make sure you're running with an agency that has results in your niche. So there's e-commerce, there's lead generation, and then there's coaches, consultants, personal brands, people selling courses, essentially like that. You want to make sure you're working with an agency in your particular niche. So if you're a e-commerce business and someone who has 90% success rate with realtors wants to run your ads, I would pretty much say no, because while that business, yes, they have success with Facebook ads, not in your niche. And that is a huge issue, and something that why we proudly identify ourselves e-commerce niche, because we only want to work with e-commerce brands. We work with e-commerce brands day to day. We specialize in that niche. Now, granted, we can charge more due to that. So yes, we do charge more, and yes, it's a little bit more cost, associated to it. But the benefit of it is you have someone that works with e-commerce day to day, and it's completely different from lead gen. So if you have someone from lead generation for realtors come and work your fashion brands ads, it's not going to really work too well. And then the cost that you're going to start having is you have to pay them longer to get it's going to take longer for them to get results for you, equals more money spent on advertising, more money wasted that could have been put to a higher tier contractor to do it for you, or higher tier e-commerce specialist to do it for you if you're a brand. Now, you can also go into a sub niche. So while we're primary e-commerce, we're not completely identified and locked down into one specific niche, but you can go even further from e-commerce now to, say, a beauty brand. So we have beauty brand clients, we have fashion clients, we have a few of other just spontaneous custom decor product. We've also worked with gaming chairs and stuff. And while we've had great results across all those niches, there is some brands that work specifically with only women's clothing lines. And these agencies are even more valuable, because not only do you have an e-commerce specialist on your team now, but you also have someone that's generate results for clothing from time to time again. So that's also the next thing. Now, while I don't really completely condemn if you do work with someone that has e-commerce results, because us personally, we don't have results in some of the niches we go into, we have generated some really good results, and that could come down to just the personality of the person running the ads. If they're willing to go out their way to really make sure they can be successful for you regardless what your product is, because a lot of e-commerce products share some of the same principles. But then having someone that already understands your product and has worked at your product for numerous other brands is very valuable. And that is something that we're also further refining with our agency to really lock down to only 1 or 2, 3 different sub niches of e-commerce, so we can really maximize our results for our clients and only focus and know those products. Because every time you enter in a new niche or a sub niche, you have to relearn a product. So that's why if you specialize with just women clothing, you know the market, you know the consumer really well, so you can exponentially get better results for your clients. So you, the client, you need to understand that, and you also to verify this is, okay, you work with e-commerce clients, have you and do you have any results with these particular particular clients, and they could say yes or no. And that's up to you whether you want to use them or not after that. But having that niche agency and also having a sub niche agency in your particular niche is more valuable. But again, your costs will rise up, but you're paying for that expertise of someone with your type of business. Now, seeing results is the next thing. Before you hire any agency, you want to make sure they have results just in general. Make sure, like I said, if they have results in your particular sub niche, that's even better. But if you're hiring a agency to run your e-commerce ads, you want to at least see some case studies in terms of e-commerce results. So again, if someone that does an amazing job with real estate clients, I do really, really well for lead gen and all that stuff, and I was pitching an e-commerce business and like, well, let me see some e-commerce results, and you don't have any, then that's more likely not a good idea. You want to make sure you're working with someone that, hey, I work with e-commerce brands, I have all of these results, and we can do this for your business. We clearly see the problem here. We might need a little bit more work on the consumer in terms of like understanding your product and your consumer, but hey, we can do that. We can definitely help you out with that. That's a lot better versus, yeah, I know, I'll give it a try. I got all these results for these realtors, but I never worked at e-commerce business. I'm sure we can crush it for you. And it doesn't really work well. Again, you might be paying less for that type of deal, but ultimately you're going to spend the money on ad spend and you're going to lose the money there versus the money you could have put into a higher tier contract that's going to necessarily give you a better result. So you want to make sure you see your results in at least your niche. Sub niche, maybe you can be just kind of relevant niches, so niches very closer to the particular product you're selling and the results they got. That works really well. So you definitely want to see your results before you bring them on board. Now, the next thing is understanding the difference between a media buyer and an agency, and also understanding what that agency or media buyer is responsible for. So a media buyer is someone who consumes, who you basically give them the copywriting, you give them the creatives, and all they're doing is executing on a Facebook ad strategy. They're going to ask you for more ad copy. They're going to ask you for more creatives. You're simply being a good person to run the ads for. So I actually do have this for one of my particular clients, but they don't have a large budget, but they're really good at copy and creatives. They're just very bad at Facebook ads management. So we do the management and they just give us the copywriting and all that. But I do have some higher tier clients where we do everything for them. They literally just sit back and collect a check that we generate them with Shopify. So it definitely depends on, again, price range, because lower price range, you're only really going to get a media buyer. Higher price range, you can get someone that covers everything. So when you're interviewing these agencies, you're interviewing these experts to run your Facebook advertising, you need to make sure you understand what they're responsible for, what they're executing on. There's copywriting, there's creative content. You'll send them pictures and videos of your products, but will they edit those videos, or do you need to send that to your editing team first? If they take photos of products, will they edit those, or will you need to get those edited first in terms of like adding like some 2D text and stuff on it and stuff like that, making it more ad friendly? Who's responsible for that? Who is going to update your website, do like a little bit of website optimization, not necessarily list products or add new events on your website, but just a little bit of website optimization in terms of critiquing the page and stuff like that. Who is responsible for that? So you need to make sure in detail whether this person will be a good fit for you by understanding what they're responsible for. Again, higher ticket agencies do more, but also they do charge more. Lower ticker agencies literally just offer like some simple stuff. So you need to understand how they can benefit you and what they're responsible for. You need to make sure you're clear with this before you proceed with them. So that's assuming they're in your niche, they got results in your niche. Now, what like stuff are they going to do for you? Be very clear about this. So now that we kind of touched on agency pricing, let's actually dive further into it. How much does it charge for a Facebook ads agency to run ads for you? Now, again, is it a media buyer or is it someone that's on a full service agency? We have seen from time and time again, just throughout the industry, you can find you a good, decent e-commerce media buyer for around $1,500 USD per month. That's someone that's literally just managing your ads for you. You're going to submit a lot of the creatives and content for them and the copywriting, and they're going to just manage all your ads for you, and they're going to generate just pretty decent results. Again, so if they're spending about $1,500, you're going to spend $1,500 on their contract. So you're probably going to want to have an ad spend of at least $1,500 a month to barely break even, probably around $3,000 to $4,000 a month in ad spend. So we can really start to, get enough return on ad spend so their contract is paid by the ad spend, and that way the rest of the profits for you. You're not, really taking profit out to pay them. So you want to make sure that's in there. And, a higher ticket agency, we have some contracts where it's like $10,000 a month plus to do everything, but we're also doing Facebook ads. We're doing creative content for them. We're doing copywriting for them. We're managing influencers and stuff. We're doing Google ads for them, TikTok, Snapchat. So it's a lot more going into it. But I would say for a higher ticket agency that's really good at Facebook ads, you're going to spend anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 per month, and someone that handles everything, from $10,000 to $30,000 per month. I know that's a lot, but we're talking about brands that are going to be spending, maybe $3,000 to $4,000 a day on ad spend. Brands that are doing anywhere from $10,000 a month to $250,000 per month in revenue, you'll be expecting to see about a $1,500 fee to $10,000 fee, depending on that. And that's also another thing. A lot of pricing and agency pricing, at least how we structure ours, we have a core program, of which is a 90-day program. We charge a flat fee for that program that's divided amongst 3 months. And then we switch to a revenue share model once we got everything, properly set up and properly running. Then we switch to a revenue share so we can keep scaling that business up. Again, there's different like service agreements and like that amongst agencies, but just typically your average pricing is $1,500 to $10,000 per month. They'll handle your Facebook ads. They'll do your copywriting. They'll do your creative content. They'll do some good results for your Facebook ads. Again, it's assuming they're in your niche, have previous results, all that good stuff. Now, what is the cycle? Like, what's the process of hiring agency? So obviously you can do some prospecting. You'll probably do a discovery call with one of them. You'll hop on the call. They'll show you the results they've got. They might critique your ad account a little bit. And then, they'll send you a contract over. You sign it. You sign up with them. What happens next? Usually you'll do some type of onboarding where they're going to get access to your ad account. They'll get access to your Shopify. They'll get access to your assets, your creative assets. So all your photos and videos from the past. You'll do probably a strategic session in terms of, digging through your customer avatar, identifying all types of content and stuff like that, and understanding your audience really well, potential questions and objections they might have, all that stuff, so they can really understand your product. Now, that's a good agency. Some agencies just like sign a contract and they start running off their own. But again, just kind of depends on the agency. So then what you'll do is you'll probably talk to them once or twice per week, usually about an email or two, nothing crazy. Some agencies do weekly calls. We are strongly against weekly calls. We do once a month calls or twice a month calls, depending on the client. We just find it's nothing really to talk about every week. There's not enough moving forward. Whereas maybe a once a month call checkup with multiple emails throughout the week to update them on key actions, it is a reasonable amount of communication. We send weekly reports. So we'll send a weekly report of past 7 days, like Monday through Sunday, and we'll send them a report, just kind of where things are going, where things are moving forward. We also like communication from the client in terms of, if they're sending over like, hey, we're launching a sale in 2 weeks. We want you to be prepared. Here's everything we're going to be launching. So, we'll have key strategic, kind of like emails in terms of like updates and stuff like that. So will be a lot of heavy communication, but once you hire them, that's kind of like how the communication go, the onboarding will go and stuff, and they'll start running ads for you. They'll start creating the creatives for you based off what you give them. They start creating copywriting for them. Now, look, I'll be honest with you. Your first month, you might actually still be kind of in it in terms of like, hey, can you approve this creative? Can you approve this copy? And you're still gonna have to kind of like touch base with them and, see the type of copy and creative they're doing, just so that they make sure that they have a good understanding of your product and they're doing it properly, because, we want to do a good job for you. And in order for us to do that, the first few ads, we're gonna get you to approve them. So we're just gonna send you a copy of them. You'll say, oh, I love that creative. Cool. That's it. But then, as the relationship moves on, one of my clients, for a few months, we talk maybe once or twice by email per month, and they'll send an invoice. And that's it. Or I'll send them an invoice. They'll pay it. That's it. And this was one of our higher ticket clients because we developed such a good, we came in sync together. So I can kind of predict their next moves, and, it just worked really well. So that's something similar to as you start working with an agency a longer time, it's building a relationship with them. And it's just something that, as you develop that strong relationship, they work with your brand really well. They can start getting you some really good results, and there's less and less time that you need to be on it at all. Our clients review results once or twice a week, and that's it. Where at the beginning, they were in there reviewing results daily, they were creating creative content, all that stuff. Then they hired us on, and we helped them out with all that issues right there. So that's kind of what to expect with an agency. I do hear some horror stories though. There is some horror stories out there, and I really wouldn't say horror stories. It's rarely that an agency is gonna come on board and just completely screw you over. So I guess the definition of a horror story is what is gonna be kind of based off everyone's own unique opinion. I guess for us, for a horror story is, someone coming on board, spending a ton of money and not getting any results. That would be a horror story for me if I was, a business owner. So that's something like what we do for all of our clients. We start off with a small budget. We start off with a reasonable budget. We don't come and say, hey, we're gonna spend $25K this week, or this month. We just started on board. No, we're gonna come on board. We're gonna start off with our small budget testing campaigns and stuff. So that way we're properly, starting to build up results and data and stuff. We start with low budget, so that way we don't blow anything crazy. I think I have heard a horror story before where someone had like a $50K a month budget. They immediately started with this agency, and this agency said, hey, we're gonna spend $25K in like a week just to get out the, start testing. And they started testing all kinds of crazy stuff and got literally no purchase. It's just absolute horror story. And they're like, we just need to spend more. And it's like, okay, if you spend $25K in a week, you don't definitely need to spend more to start getting results. You know, we start off at like $100, $300 a day. Even for our ad accounts that are planning on spending 22 to 25K a day in ad spend, we start off about $100, $200 a day. Low budget testing, it takes a little longer to get results, but we prioritize profit over revenue potential. So we want to take less risk. Low budget testing. Some business owners we've ran ads for, they were, you know, too much in a rush to scale that they literally let us go because we were prioritizing them too much. Then tried running ads themselves and blew tons of money, wasted their money down the drain, way more than they would have paid us and the retainer and all that stuff. And it was like, hey, can you come run ads for us again? And then, you know, they finally understood why it takes a little time, be a little patient. So, and that's also the next thing is, you know, you as the client, there's some client expectations us agency owners expect you to uphold, and I'll get that to you in a second. But just to go back to the horror stories, I mean, yeah, I haven't really heard too much. If you do your due diligence and really dig through, you know, going with an agency that's in your niche, going with an agency that has prior results, and you know, really making sure that they understand what you're trying to do, you understand what they're responsible for, and you really take all those prior steps, you're probably going to have a good experience with that agency, unless they're just someone that's completely, saying they can do all this and they can't do it at all. They've copied some other people's reviews and testimonials and stuff, but I don't see that every day on a day-to-day basis. So just be smart. It's kind of like when you go purchase something online, you know, do your due diligence, look at some reviews, look at some results and stuff, look at some social proof and stuff like that. Make sure you're going with an agency that has a proven background. So if you go through all that, you should have a good time. We shouldn't have really any issues. Now, client expectations, because you as the client, you're going to control this whole relationship. If you treat this agency like they're your slave, you're not going to have a good time. I've personally worked with a client before. I knew I shouldn't have took him on board because I have my own special criteria if I allow a client to come on board with us, so we can start running ads for him. And this client did not fit those expectations at all, but I was in more of a scarcity mindset at the time, and I was like, I'm willing to take on anyone. And when you have those mindsets, you tend to make bad mistakes, and that's what this client was. And they treated me like a slave, and it created this really unnecessary attention on it. They were expecting things outside of what we signed and agreed upon, had no boundaries at all when it came to communication, like literally blow my phone about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning because an ad got disapproved, like something simple like that. So you the client, you control everything. You want to treat this agency like you treat your wife or your husband. You want to treat them respectfully. You want to respect the boundaries and stuff. And part of, before you join this partnership with them, is laying out those expectations. And it's your job as a client to have proper expectations be told to the agency, and it's the agency's job at understanding your expectations and understanding, communicating to you what they're going to be doing. So if those expectations are met properly in the beginning, then when y'all sign on, it's going to be a very smooth experience. So you definitely got to look at all that, and as you're working with an agency. So closing out, hiring a Facebook ads agency can be super beneficial to you because you, the e-commerce business owner, you need to be focusing on other things, and you can't be spending all day in the ads manager. You can't be spending all day worrying about creating new creatives and stuff like that. You need to be focused on what you do best, creating great products, providing an amazing service to your customers, building up your team, figuring out how to cut down costs and stuff, and like your shipping, fulfillment, how to create a better product and all that stuff. You need to be focused on the bigger picture stuff. You need to be focusing more on strategic, maybe overall campaigns and stuff that y'all can be pushing. So like a Valentine's Day sale and stuff, and then having the right people in place to really go ahead and execute on this for you. So having an agency to do this for you, or maybe a media buyer that just knows Facebook ads really well, and you love on the creative and you love on the copy, and they can just take what you give them and they can run with it. So having this is a really great player on your team. I know one of our clients, we typically do about 60 to 100 grand a month for them, and just for Valentine's Day we did $847,000 in revenue in less than 21 days. So having the right agency can be super profitable for you, especially one that knows specifically your business, your niche, and all that. You can see some amazing, just absolutely amazing results. And I know for me, it's very fulfilling to completely change a business's results around, allow them to hire more people and stuff. I'm putting more jobs into the market, and just something I'm super grateful to do and absolutely love. So, hiring agency, super beneficial to you. And if you specifically are an e-com business owner, and this is where I'm gonna give my pitch at, if you're spending at least $1,000 per day, let's book a call. Let's see what we can do for you. If you're running paid advertising right now, you're likely on this video because you maybe have had some bad experiences with your current agency. Maybe you're tired of being in the ads manager all the time, and you're on this video now to figure out what you need to do. Then let's hop on a call together. Let's see what you got going on right now. Like I said, as long as you're spending at least $1,000 a day, you're in the e-commerce niche, niche. We can hop on a call together. We can audit everything you're currently doing, and then we can see what's the best route for you to improve. And then whether you use us, that's totally cool. If not, you can take these things I give you and you can give it to your team, and your team can execute on it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I release new videos every other day, similar to this video. Well, guys, it's around that time. Again, my name is Nick Theriot. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.